gonna get the music to play, and it's gonna take all fucking day.
Yep. That's what it always does. Why? Just go back to where's the thingy? There we go.
Nice. Now we're there. Excuse me.
Here we are.
Make sure we go live on the gram. No TikTok, right?
Nah, no TikTok. TikTok's for homosexuals.
Yeah. Be like
And
that.
we're banned.
Bam. All right. We're going to go ahead and share the post. We're live on YouTube. We're going to share the post on Facebook here, and then we're going to get rocking.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Slipstream. Do your thing. Will this one work?
Nice.
What it do, y'all? We're waiting for some people to get up in here. We're talking about why does Conowingo suck?
I have my ideas.
Why does Conowingo suck this year? I couldn't tell you because I haven't been there once. But we're going to talk about some ideas. Why haven't I been there? Because it's too far away. And I haven't been fishing that much. Sometimes they snap, you know what I'm saying?
They do. If you're watching us, go ahead and like and share the post. Get some more folks in here. Join our conversation. We're going to get into some cool stuff tonight. Not going to be a super long show. I got to be that'll be up pretty early, around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Definitely had a good weekend off today to talk about too. Let's go ahead and run the intro.
Let's run it.
We're going to rock. We're going to do it. All right, here we go.
I just want to say, let's reminisce for one moment here. Remember when we just sat in front of a coffee table with a cell phone and started doing this? Like,
Yep.
How long was it? Has
4
it
years
been
ago.
4 years?
Pretty much. It was 2021 is when me and you, I think you called me like, hey, you want to go live? And I was like, sure. What are we going to talk about? I don't know.
Some bass fishing.
So
4
4 years
years
later,
later.
here we are.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. I'm going to give a shout out to our buddy Paul, who's not here with us tonight. He is fishing on the Eastern Shore, so best of luck to you, Paul. Hope you catch him up. And then I got to give a huge shout out to our boy Riverboat Rob. If you guys didn't get a chance to see the video we put out last week for JCS Marine, please check that out. Rob actually really helped us do that. So just a huge thank you to Rob for doing a lot of legwork and getting that video made and edited up for us. We actually there's a lot of footage that didn't make it in there for no particular reason. Just that video doesn't do them justice for what they do up there.
It really doesn't.
So if you got a chance to check it out, check it out. It's pretty cool. Not a lot of videos out there, with the exception of like Team Marine, really give you an inside of what goes on in shops when it comes to working on boats and like the devil in the details and kind of things that go along with
What's
that.
up, Steven? Thanks for joining, brother.
But we're going to roll into it tonight. And like I said, like and share, bring some more folks in. We're going to have a good conversation. Talking about my favorite fishery, even though it hasn't been this year. We're going to talk about Conowingo. Actually, Chad, because I want to hear this man's opinion, can you bring in Mr. God, why am I blanking on his name right now? Mr. Brian that runs the Setlock. Sorry. Can you bring in Mr. Brian Setlock on the comments and see if we can get him to join the conversation? I'm curious as to what he thinks, because, and I got to give a huge shout out to, or you might be able to just tag Conowingo Bass Opens if you can't pull up his name. Yeah, just tag Conowingo Bass Opens. But anyway, so if you read it, we're talking about Conowingo tonight, and I actually kind of did a little bit of
What's up, Josh?
It's definitely garage science, all right. It's not super scientific stuff we're talking here, but I just wanted to kind of get into this because fishing it a lot this year. I mean, less than I normally fish it, but fishing it a lot this year. This has been a very bad year for Conowingo, and it's been the worst year I can imagine, or the worst year I've had. And a lot of people have had up there quite a while.
This has been the worst year of fishing I've ever had.
It has been very tough up there, and I never believe that things are random. With a place that last year we saw multiple bags over 18 pounds. I mean, the first tournament, Miles and I won with like 18 and change. There was a couple bags that were 19. There was in the fall.
I did see Mike Duarte caught a 5-pounder.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Up there the other day.
That was pretty cool.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool to see. It's really rejuvenating to see after this year, actually. But last year, man, there was a lot of big weights.
Matt?
I mean, there were like 15, 16-pound bags that weren't cashing checks up there. Last year was what the fishery, I think, should be, right? There was largemouth in the equation. Obviously, we get later in the year, the smallmouth got better. This year has just been brutal, man. I mean, like me and Miles were practicing for the first tournament, like 13, 14 pounds on a really good day. And we thought we had no shot. And lo and behold, I mean, I think the first tournament was only 13 pounds. We ended up with like 11 and a half or something and cashed a check. We got top 5. So, those big weights, I think the biggest bag that's been up there this year that I understand in a big tournament, and I'm not going to take the smoke from Nate. I think Nate Brown had like a 16-pound bag up there one day this year. So that's the biggest bag I've seen. The biggest bag in a tournament, like a not a club tournament.
How you doing, brother? Thanks for joining, Matt.
I think it was like 14 pounds of all smallmouth.
Matt Downs with Trick Tins in the house.
Yep. So I kind of want to get into a little bit about why I think the place is having a bad year this year.
John, the man himself.
What's up, John? Thanks for joining us, man.
Cheers to you, brother. Thanks for this dope-ass shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
And the hat. So why do I think Conowingo sucks? Well, I've done a little bit of research over the last week or two. This all stemmed on just the grind that it's been this whole year. Going up there with my club 2-3 weeks ago, and I think Dustin won the tournament with like 7 pounds. Which, now, generally speaking,
you're not really in the prime of the season.
Well, no, but I mean, our club generally doesn't go up there and light the world on fire, and it's no slack on anybody. It's just they don't go up there and fish a lot. Like the guys that fish the Wingo Opens are up there all the time. Like you got the guys that are loyal to fishing the bay. There's guys on Conowingo that's where they fish.
What's his name, the dude that's up there all the time?
Mr. Herb.
Yeah,
Herbie, Mr. Jason Bassa, Mr. Terry Knoll, all those guys, they fish up there like some of the hammers fish the bay. So you kind of pick your poison and just put your eggs in that basket. But even those guys, man, it's been a struggle. I mean, it's been a very, very serious struggle. You know, Andrew Sams and Mike Duarte had a really good year. Pretty sure they won 2 tournaments. You know, so like, but a lot of those guys that are really competitive up there haven't really been super, super competitive. I mean, like Jason, like Mr. Terry. There's other guys up there that I their names escape me at the moment that generally do really good up there and just have kind of been a little bit on the struggle bus like us. Like we've struggled too. So I kind of started looking into it. Like, why does this place suck? And I think I kind of got something going on in my head that makes sense to me, and I want to hear y'all's thoughts on it. So I've been looking at studies, right? And a lot of studies say that 30% of a bass population every year die. 30%. So that's a lot of fish. I mean, that's a healthy portion of fish. I mean, that's not almost half, but it's more than a quarter, right? So a lot of fish in any given fishery at any given time just naturally die every year. And that's not including tournament deaths. That's not including people old timers that catch them and put them on a stringer and take them home and fry them up. That's just natural. Those fish that are just old, they have a disease or they just die of old age. So that 30%, you know, yes, one year it could be a little bit lower, but I think when you factor in tournaments and you factor in, you know, guys that are going up there to catch and harvest fish, that 30% is going to get a little bit higher. So 30% is like a low end estimate. So let's say your fishery supports a certain number, and I'm going to kind of give you guys the idea and then explain it, right? Let's say your fishery supports 10,000 fish. Make it a real easy number. 3,000 fish are going to die every year. That's how it's going to work. 3,000 fish are just going to die every year naturally. And that's normal. Like that, a healthy fishery, that's going to happen. So at the end of that year, right, the spawn of next year has to replace those fish. So what happens if you have a bad spawn? If you have a bad spawn, you got double trouble, right? Because you lost 3,000 and then you lost those fish that are supposed to replace those 3,000.
You know me, I've always been one of those people that thinks that tournament fishing during the spawn is a terrible thing.
So yes, but that doesn't apply up here because you can't tournament fish during the spawn up here. I mean, this place doesn't open up till June 15th.
I definitely thought they were tournament fishing during the spawn up here.
So
I thought that was a Pennsylvania thing.
So it is, but because Conowingo is half Pennsylvania, you can't fish tournaments up there until June 15th. You can go up there and fish paper.
Well, when I talk about this, I'm like generally I'm thinking about the flats.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a small, we're not going to go off topic too much on the whole thing, but like we talk about the flats, larger fishery, but you have like a small fishery like the gunpowder. People take fish off their beds and stuff.
Yes.
I think it can, affect things.
A small place like that, I think it matters. And that's the thing about Conowingo is like, because I thought the same thing. I'm like, well, what about, and then I'm like, I remember, it's like, well, they actually don't, you can't pull fish off a bed. Yeah, you can't live. Kevin's absolutely right. Kevin Parsons says, can't live while I'm on the lake till the 15th of June. So those fish are done. I mean, you might get a handful that are on a bed in like, for a week or two after that, but it's not a majority. It's a very small population. So here's my theory. So can you go to the Untitled Spreadsheet tab for a second and share the screen? So I'm doing some very basic math here, and I just want to set the stage of this, right? So we have the years on there. Spawners, we're just going to say 10,000 fish live on Conowingo. Just to make this super, super, super easy, all right? So that everyone can kind of understand the concept. So every year we're going to say we have about 10,000 fish, or 10,000 is like the normal. You might have a little bit more, you might have a little bit less, but that's like that normal thing, right? So let's say we have, in 2021, we had a normal spawn.
What's up, Fishing for Dallas? Thanks for joining, brother.
Roughly 3,000 fish that replace that death rate, about 10,000 that are like normal age fish, and then you had your 3,000 die off. So at the end of the year, you had about your 10,000, right? So then we go to 2022. Same thing. Let's make that spawners in 2022, column B3. Let's make that 0 one time and see what it looks like. So now we're down to 7,000 fish. Okay. If we have a bad spawn, now that's a really bad spawn. That's 0 fish. That's no fish survive the spawn.
That's impossible.
It's not. It's definitely improbable. But that's a significant difference. I mean, that's a lot. That's a big difference in fish. Now, imagine we're talking 100,000 fish. That now we're down to 70,000. Now we lost 30,000 fish. So either way, you lost 30% of your population, like pretty fucking quick. Now the fish that you can go ahead and make that back to 3,000 if you want. So now we got the fish that die off yearly, right? Well, the majority of fish that die off yearly naturally are not young fish. They're fish that are older. Generally, older fish are bigger, right? So we have fish that are older, that are bigger, that are dying off. Those are your 3-4 pound fish, maybe your heavy twos this time of year, but those are like your 18-inch smallmouth, regardless of the size. 18 to 20 inch smallmouth that are dying off, which is natural, right? So if we already know we're going to lose those 3,000, we lose those spawners. Now we're down 30%. Now the reason why I think this happened is if you go back in 2022, can you open my email real quick? If y'all steal my email, I'm going to get you to scroll up a little bit. So I looked at some data and I sent this to my club. So that's who's seen this first, but I pulled this from Conowingo Dam and I just kind of copied it and put it in the email here. But so from early May through May 16th, so right in the height of the spawn, the spill gates were wide open, right? And I remember going up there in that early May time frame, and it was chocolate milk, and that river was ripping. I mean, it was rolling like a C-130 down the strip. I mean, she was pumping, and it was disgusting. It was horrible water conditions. So I think that in 2022 we had a really bad spawn. Okay, so what's that mean, right? Well, if you only are making 3,000 fish every year, now our cap, our normal cap went from 10,000 to 7,000. So now that was 2022. So now we've had 3 years of a fishery that only supports 30% less fish than what we have. 30% actually makes a big difference. Like, that's a lot of fish, dude. So the reason why I think this is really significant is we know through multiple studies that fish in poor spawning conditions will just simply not drop their eggs. Now, what if the fish spawned earlier? Okay. If the fish spawned the last week of April and that water's in the 50s and 60s, you should be fine.
It's too late now anyways, but I was like, I'm going to play with it anyway.
Nah, you should be good. But if those fish spawn, let's say, because smallmouth will spawn a little bit earlier. Let's say those fish spawn late April, last 2 weeks of April. If they hatched, their first week of life was chocolate milk, turbulent water, and endless amounts of debris, pollution, and whatever flowing down that river. Now, if you go to a fish tank or whatever and you see fingerling bass, what do? They hold tight to cover. They stay in a small area, right? And the parents will guard the fry for a little bit. So
right.
Even if these fish hatched, how can adult fish guard their fry if they can't see an inch in front of their face? And how do the fry know to stay in the same spot if they can't see an inch in front of their face? By the way, it's also Conowingo. We know shit moves, and the current up there can be very serious. So if these fish, if they hatched, and I don't think a lot of them did. I think a lot of fish didn't drop their eggs. If these fish hatched, I think they got washed out or just succumbed to the natural conditions at the time. And this went on for 2 weeks. This wasn't a couple days. This went on. These spill conditions were 2 weeks. So if you go back, early May, heavy rains causing river to fill, spill gates to open. If you've ever been up there when the spill gates are open after like 3-4 days of good rain, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's disgusting.
It's nasty.
So 10 days later, May 11th, the fishing report basically said that it was so high and muddy that they would have to fish the fishing area or whatever on Conowingo downstream actually had shut down because of all the current and all the debris and all the nastiness and crap. And then we get all the way halfway through May. I mean, the water levels were still, the spillway was still open. So I think that any eggs that were dropped, any of those early spawners, I don't think they lived. And I think the fish that hadn't dropped eggs yet saw this crap water and just didn't drop their eggs. I mean, we know the fish do that. If the spawning conditions don't get right, you'll have bad spawns and they won't drop their eggs. I mean, we see it on the Eastern Shore all the time. They have bad spawns. That's why the place sucks. So why does this matter? Okay, so we had a bad spawn in 2022. There's still 7,000 fish, right? Well, I read another study. I think it was the Bemidji State study. You can go back to the camera now. But the Bemidji State study did a study on smallmouth. They're up in like I think it's like Minnesota or something. And they were looking at fish mortality rates and this, that, and the other, primarily on smallmouth. Now, granted, smallmouth smallmouth up north grows slower. So I'm giving myself a year of buffer on this because we've seen. I mean, this is a pretty moderately warm body of water throughout most of the year. But in their study, they had said that the majority of fish that they sampled were 3 to 4 years old. The majority of fish. Okay. Well, if this spawn was so bad 3 years ago, the majority of fish that should be in Conowingo right now, those 2 to 3 pounders, are not there. And I think we're seeing that, right? Because if you go up there and you fish tournaments, a lot of guys are weighing in bags of less than 10 pounds, which suggests that the average fish rate is under 2 pounds. That fish is younger than 3 years old.
Why do the big ones stop eating? You can't just say they're not there.
Where's that comment? What did it say?
I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I don't think the big ones do stop eating. I just think that the big ones are. I think there's still plenty of big ones up there, but I think that the big ones are just dying out naturally, like they do every year. But there's not enough big ones to replace them. Is what I'm saying. Now, why do I think this is true? In 2021, okay, was 4 years ago. So last year, a lot of those fish that spawned in 2021 would have been 2 to 3 pounds. Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of 2 to 3 pound fish in Conowingo last year. I mean, a lot of bags of that 10 to 13 pound range was pretty normal. A couple bags of bigger, but I mean, if the spawn in 2022 was as bad as I think it was, the majority class of fish that should be making up the big part of the population is just not there. And that's why we're seeing fish that were spawned in 2023 and 2024 that are being brought to the scales. Those fish that are a pound and a half, they're not 3 years old. They're 2 years old or a year old. Fish, generally speaking, in this area can grow about a pound a year. Smallmouth a little bit less, just because they just don't get as big. So that's kind of my theory, is that like right now we are in the worst time of what would be affected in a bad spawn year from 3 years ago. Now, what about the fish in 2021 that spawned? Okay, well, they should be there. But I mean,
you have a lot of different variables every season too. Like just the rain season up north can affect everything that happens down south.
Right.
There's so many different variables because Conowingo is man-made current to most of the time. Like there is natural current there is some flow. There's always some flow going downstream. But you have man-made current, you have man-made things happening, you have different weather events that are happening that each year is different on what is happening up on that river.
Yeah. And the thing
between Holtwood and Conowingo.
Yeah. Well, my thing of it is like if you look at the weights on Conowingo the last 3 years, they've been pretty high. Relatively speaking. I mean, there's been some There's been a good many of bags.
Was
over
there a
15
fish
pounds.
kill in Conowingo? I don't remember that.
Not that I'm aware of.
We're talking about Conowingo right now, Lil John.
But we could talk about that with the gunpowder. I mean, that would be a huge thing too. But it's like I just go back to this. Like, if the majority of fish in any given population are between 3 and 4 years old, and you didn't have 3-year-old fish, that makes a lot of sense. Why there's just not a lot of fish right now. Mm-hmm. So those numbers that I showed you earlier, those are just kind of to set the stage, but you kind of got to inflate it a little bit too, where you could make out a class year of fish to be a very significant portion.
What's up, B. Ryan?
So I really think that the bad spawn in 2022 did a lot of damage up there, and I think it supports it because the weights last year, the year before, and into like 2021 were pretty high. I mean, there was some fish being caught up there all year. Big Dave, our buddy Big Dave, was catching 17, 18 pounds in July. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of 16-pound bags.
Is Big Dave fishing again?
Once he gets healthy, yeah. Once he gets healthy, but there was a lot of bigger bags that were caught in the 2024 3-2 seasons that just haven't seen it. We haven't seen it. Now, I think you'll see some big ones in the fall, right? Because there are still some big fish there that are just going to get bigger as the year goes on. But I think that this year and next year are going to be pretty tough because the spawn, like a bad spawn, can affect at least a year, if not two. And then I think in 2027, 2028, I think we'll probably see it back to normal. A lot of folks are like, what about the largemouth?
Chris, I'd rather fish the Sabine with a boat full of poison ivy than fish Conowingo.
Yeah. That's how I feel this year.
What's your reason for that, though?
That's how I feel this year.
You got the scope. You can figure it out on the scope. You don't even need scope to figure it out up on Wingo a lot of times.
The reason I think, like another thing is like, because when me and Miles fished it a lot, especially like in June, July, like a lot of the places where we found fish were in similar places.
Yeah, it's no lie. There's a straight up dink fest, especially this year. It's a dink fest.
Yeah.
There's definitely been other years where there's been some decent sized fish caught.
Yeah. But like when we found fish in some of the spots that we had fished last year where we did well, there was still fish on them. They were just a pound or less. So it's like the fish are still doing what they're supposed to do. There's just those big ones. There's 2 to 3 pounder. I mean, especially largemouth. Like largemouth are simple. Like a 3 pound largemouth is generally 3 years old. So I think that they are not there.
In general, I personally think there's better smallmouth below a lot of years.
Bigger ones, yes. Yes, definitely. More numbers, no.
Not the numbers,
No.
but
definitely bigger ones. Definitely bigger ones, but numbers definitely not. I think that the
you know me, I like to fish for quality.
Yeah, I mean, like 2 years ago, I spent a lot of weekends going up towards like up way up on the lower Susquehanna and did really
good
well
luck
with
fishing for
smallmouth.
Dallas. Been doing a lot of big game fishing here. I say big game, big tournament fishing.
Chris says he usually catches one good fish every time I go, usually on a brush pile, but it's so hard to put a bag together. That's why I've only been 6-7 times. I mean, yeah, that's been our season. I mean, we'll catch 1 or 2 big ones in a tournament, and then you'll got 2 fish for 3 pounds and weigh in 8 pounds.
What's up, Jim?
Or you got 2 fish for 6 pounds and weigh in 8 pounds.
Man, I can remember back in the day going up there with Adam Grumman, and the sun is setting, and you go up towards Holtwood, and just throwing topwater up near like the waterfall and where those drop ups are, and just catching. Not saying they were big or anything like that, but just getting nailed.
Yeah.
50, 60 times in the course of a couple of hours or an hour.
Yeah.
That was good times. That was one of my favorite things about fishing Conowingo was never the south side of Conowingo, always going up above the rocks.
But it's like, and the other thing too that I really think that is eye-opening is this year, Brian Setlock and Mr. Dave, they did a really good job of keeping boats in those tournaments. I mean, there was like 50 boats almost every tournament.
Yeah.
And when 30 out of the 50 boats are weighing in less than 8 pounds, that means that you just don't have a lot of 2-3 pound fish there. They're just not there. That's my theory. Is they're just not there. Spawn sucked 3 years ago.
I would go out with somebody that knows it first and then learn it that way and then start to run it with your boat. Because if you don't, you'll end up hitting something.
I will say it's not as bad as you think, but like if you're just
it's not as bad as you think, but you definitely have to be. You got to be careful.
I would just go as far north as you want, as far north as you're comfortable, and just fish around until you see somebody running up and just follow them.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it. Because once you get the trail one time, you're good. Rocks don't move.
I just learned it with a John boat when I just didn't give a shit if I hit anything.
Yeah. Chris says it was rough across the state. The Potomac was terrible this year. I would actually disagree with that. I think the flats have been incredible. I think the flats have been just mind blowing this year, which is crazy. The flats have been ridiculous. I mean, it's been unreal how good all year the flats have been great. I don't know about the Potomac. I didn't go down there this year, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, the gunpowder sucked this year. For sure.
Gunpowder was trash this year.
Gunpowder definitely sucked this year.
Gunpowder was trash.
Before we move on to other topics, I don't have the science, the garage science to back this one up, but I do think that the gunpowder sucks. Not because of not grass, But because of that, because the grass hasn't been there, I think those fish just left. I just think the fish aren't there. I think they rolled.
I'm beginning to agree with that because it's like, yeah, the grass isn't there, so I've gone and fished other things, and they weren't there either.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is if the grass, I mean, in 2022, when the grass was really good, there was fish to be caught all over the place. I mean, that was the year, I think, where Buck and Kevin were catching like fucking 14 pounds, winning the tournament, 13, 14 pounds, right? Like, when you have a lot of grass, it improves the water quality in that direct vicinity, but also like in a broader vicinity too. So, I think that those fish had to leave. There was just so much grass and so many fish on the gunpowder that when that grass went away, there's only so many spots that are just going to hold fish. They would be piled up on top of one another. And they're just not. They're just not. So I think that they rolled. And the thing of it is like they didn't go to Dundee because Dundee didn't have any grass in it this year.
So that goes to Little John's comment. I agree they left and went to find grass in Dundee or the Bush River, something of that nature. But as far as I know, they weren't thick in Dundee either.
Well, Dundee didn't have any grass. Dundee didn't have any grass
I
this
heard
year.
it had grass.
Well,
more grass than freaking Joppa.
Yeah, but I don't know. When I spent some time in Saltpeter this year, I didn't see any grass. Doesn't mean it wasn't in Dundee. Maybe there was some. If there was, tell me I'm wrong. But I don't think there was enough grass locally to move those fish. I think those fish just dipped. And I think they could have went south. I don't know what the grass situation's like in Seneca. I don't know what it's like in like fucking Fairleigh Creek or whatever, Still Pond. I don't know.
What were the bank bathroom stories that we talked about?
The bank bathroom stories. Was it somebody getting off the boat to like take a dump or something? Probably.
I feel like this was 2 weeks ago because we weren't even live last week.
Yeah. Chris says way less grass this year in Dundee and Saltpeter. I think if there was a lot of grass there, you would have seen a lot more fish there, but there hasn't been. I really think those fish left. And like the thing of it is not only did a lot of those fish leave, a lot of those fish have been taken out of there too. Like in 2021 and 2022, a lot of guys were running south in those Chester counties and in those bigger tournaments to run to the gunpowder to catch fish. Not a crazy amount, but enough to pull, and that was during the spawn, to pull spawning fish out. So again, if you have fish that are leaving, if you have fish that aren't sticking around, and you pull the spawners out in a fishery that's already not doing great, you're taking that replenishing factor away, which is a big deal. It's a
Getting
very
bit
big
up by
deal.
chiggers is terrible.
Yeah, that
was no fun.
Yeah, that's brutal. That'll keep you up at night. But that's my theory on Conowingo. And some of it can be applied to the gunpowder. Like I said, if you got fish that are leaving anyway, not necessarily dying off, but leaving because of the grass situation, the spawners are getting pulled out during that magical time of year when you can catch big ones down there consistently. That can affect a small fishery like the gunpowder quickly. And again, I think everything goes in 3 to 4 year cycles, and we haven't had good grass in the gunpowder in 3 years. So if you look at the 3 years, right, again, just keeping your mind that the majority of any fish population that's studied is 3 to 4 years old. So fishing areas, lakes, whatever, go in 3 to 4 year cycles. Just keep that in mind. Unless it's the Eastern Shore, then it just sucks all the time.
What's up, Josh? Thanks for joining, bro.
Josh, be safe on your drive, man. Hope you're...
Speaking of Josh, maybe we should dip into... We got a little bullet update, don't we?
Yeah, we do. So actually, I got a chance to talk to John today. He shot me a text, gave me a call. I gave him a call, and we shot the shit for about 20 minutes or so, talking about the bullet, talking about some good stuff. So John's got some good stuff in store for me. The bottom of the boat has been patched up. He's, according to him, they did it the first time, wasn't particularly happy with how it turned out and what else could have been done. So they basically have redone pretty much the whole bottom at this point. Because the way it was told to me is the more you grind, the more you find. So any little imperfection that they found, they addressed, they got it squared away. So once
that boat's gonna roll. When it comes back.
So the last thing is it's gonna get hull speed on it to really give it like a good finish and seal everything up. It's gonna get back on the trailer, and then we're just gonna make sure all the electronics are working. Get the new Pro XS two stroke on there, and then we're gonna go pick it up probably, hopefully, first week of December.
Can that be flashed?
No, Mercury's cannot be flashed.
That's right, Mercury. That's
Nope.
right. It's a Yamaha thing, and they can flash them.
Nope. Which I'm all
Mercury
right with
needs to do something about that.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't. Honestly, they're just getting dragged by Yamaha right now with that aspect of it.
Personally, I think Yamaha dogs on freaking Mercury. I think Mercury's got some fast motors, but Yamaha's support, the way that you can tune them, their reliability for a performance motor other than like a Suzuki or a Honda, that's the way to go.
Yeah. So it's not a huge update with the Bullet, but that's the Bullet update. Pretty excited to get it back. I mean, I'm very excited for next year. When are we going
up there to get it?
It sounds like early December. Should be able to go up there.
It was like kind of like when we
Pretty
freaking went to go pick it up.
Pretty much.
So we're gonna go up there in early December. I'm going, right? Yeah, I'm going.
I'm working on the angle I'm trying to work is, I think Miles needs to get his Stratus up there to just get some love. And he's been receptive. He's been receptive to it. He's been like, yeah, I could use a little bit. We're not talking about like a fucking $10,000 party drop or nothing. Just like a little bit to just make it prettier and maybe fix some electronics and, you know, maybe not have the live scope battery falling out of the boat.
How much money are we talking though? Because there is, if he wanted to restore the boat, then restore the boat. Like if he loves that boat so much, but I don't think a Stratus doesn't have the roar of a Bullet.
Well,
you know
it's not
saying?
It
It's
wouldn't
like,
be a
it's not
restore.
Wow.
Yeah, it would just be like a rewiring of, hey, this thing looks like crap. Let's figure it out, and you know, let's take what we got and make it a little bit better for next year.
Yeah, well,
which it needs. I mean, every time I screw with it, like every time that boat's been parked in my driveway, I work on it all day. I work on it all day because it needs like little shit. It doesn't need anything major. It just needs little shit that I need, that like it needs to get done.
Let's bring the Stratus and Chad's Tinger.
Yeah.
Yeah. The old Ranger, that is one thing that I would like to talk a little bit about tonight, is maybe some different prop options, because you got to run the boat now. So you've gotten a feel for it.
Yep.
So it's, you know, what do we go for at this point?
I think you got to go with a trophy. I think you got to go with a trophy plus 4-blade, because the bow lift leaves a lot to be desired, and that's putting it nicely. I looked at it today. The motor's all the way down. I mean, so you really can't get the motor any lower.
No.
Not
unless you go with, I guess, maybe a different jack plate orientation.
Now, I admittedly did not screw around with, I didn't look at the fucking RPMs on it. So I didn't see what
it's
that
probably
situation
running 57
was.
to 58 out of 6,000, I do believe.
I don't even know what the wide open like recommendation is on that thing. I should have checked.
6,000.
But me and Skylar were just getting out, you know, trying to get a tight line. We weren't really screwing around with it. I definitely. Yeah, John says legs like that while they make long pants. Yeah, I know. I got ghost leg syndrome. They're very white, extremely white.
My turn.
Fish of a Dollar says got a VMAX 4 here. Southwest Missouri, got to ride it every couple years there too. Talk to the town when I get it out. Yeah. John says put a 150R on it. I don't think that'll help. I think you need a. Definitely think you need to get a. Josh says leave the booty shorts to Chad. Damn, dragged in the comments over here. That's good. Now I got to go hit legs extra hard. Dude,
I don't even have a leg day.
Now I got to go hit legs even harder on Sunday.
No, if you want to be like me, Tony, you just need to drink more beer and it'll take care of itself.
Well, I will say this, not to just totally go off the rails, but the new workout program I've been on for the last 5 weeks has been phenomenal, and I'm way stronger now than I've ever been in my life, which is kind of cool. We'll get into that later, maybe, probably not, because you guys want to talk about fishing. But to your boat, I think I definitely think you could benefit from a 4-blade prop. I think you got a 23 Bravo. No, it's a 23 Tempest, right? Tempest Plus.
It's a Tempest 23. It's a Tempest Plus 23 pitch, 3-blade.
I will say, man, that thing jumps out of the hole. Like, it flies out of the hole. And I don't know a whole lot about tin boats. I don't know. Jesus.
Just built like a FedEx driver.
Nice.
That is amazing.
I don't know how like tin boats are in performance wise, right? I imagine there's differences. I'm sure there is, but
Fishing for dollars. Unfortunately, it's Bud Light on tap right now, but that keg is about empty. So,
yeah,
what's next is probably Blue Moon.
Yeah, hey, there you go. But I will say your boat, dude, it flies out of the hole. I mean, it's instantly on plane. Instantly, which is not a bad thing, but generally speaking, you don't, if you want to run a little bit faster, you want it to take a minute or two to, not a minute or two, but you want it to take a little bit of time to get on plane. So that's the first thing I noticed. And it wasn't just me in the boat, it's me in the boat, Skylar in the boat, all my shit, all Skylar's shit.
And then all my shit that was still in there.
So there's a lot of crap in that boat,
Yeah.
and that thing is getting up on pad quick.
Boom,
Now
it's there.
the weird thing I noticed is, and I wanted to run it a little bit more, but Skylar had to roll out, so I didn't want to waste time. When I run it and I trim it, once it gets on pad, it does the typical nose dive when it's trimmed all the way down. Got it. They all do that. As I trimmed it up, I got bow lift, and then I lost bow lift. Like it was over trimmed. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? I wonder if this boat's being over trimmed. And then I looked at the trim gauge, and the trim gauge had only gone up to like maybe a quarter trim, or like, it wasn't halfway, maybe 3/8 of the way up.
Yeah, it goes close to halfway, and then most of the time it stops.
Right. So
right at the halfway point.
So I noticed that, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, you know what? This thing could just be getting over trimmed, because when you lose bow lift, or when you lose bow lift, you lose bite on the prop, generally speaking. Because if you're getting bow lift, and then you lose it, you had to have over trimmed.
Well,
or the weight of the boat is so heavy,
if you bring it back, it never corrects itself.
But that's normal, though. That's normal. You'd have to trim it all the way back down. You'd have to start over. So like that's what I'm thinking is I'm almost like, if I was gonna run it again, I would trim it. I would get it up, get it to float a little bit, and then just bump the trim 1/1000 and see what happens, and then see where it falls off.
That some bitch snowplows with that motor all the way down. It's bad.
Yeah, but that's not abnormal. I just like, because I mean, learning how to run this bullet a little bit, and I don't know how to run it adequately, nearly as well as I would like to know. I do think that it's being over trimmed. It just feels like it, and the rooster tail's high as shit.
I still think a little prop could help.
I think a 4-blade would do you a lot of work. I think a 4-blade would help you a lot, because it would get you more bow lift naturally, and if you got more bite, you're going to be able to trim it up a little bit more and get even more bow lift out of it. I think it would help a lot. I mean, a 4-blade is just going to lift the bow better. That's why like bullets love a 4-blade.
I agree with Scott's comment. Let your ass and your back tell you how much trim.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I didn't even know, like, because John told me the same thing with the bullet, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And then you start doing it, and you can feel it. You can feel everything, because I'm used to, like, coming out of a Ranger, I'm used to, okay, throttle down, it's on plane, trim it to the sky. Just trim it all the way up, right? That's what most people think is the deal.
And I do think that I need some more stern lift.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that I definitely think a 4-blade would help you. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. I think it would help you. But I will say, like, the fishing platform, running that thing on the front of the boat for a couple hours is really good fishing platform.
It's a great fishing platform. Yeah. It's fantastic. It is not meant for bigger waters. Going from here to Middle River in that boat is a nightmare. You're going to be going about 15 miles an hour if you're lucky the whole time, because you're going to split the hull in half going through shit like that. It's not good for that.
I could see that. But the thing of it is too is like 99% of the time,
Joppa to Dundee, it's good.
Yeah.
Conowingo, unless a storm comes through, it's good.
Yeah.
It just
99% of the time. Of the 99% of the time you spend on your boat is with the trolling motor down. So, in my opinion, if you're not worried about going 100 miles an hour, if you like the way the boat is with the trolling motor down,
when you pay so much money for a boat, you just want it to perform the way that it should perform. And my other thing with it is when it's plowing through the water, it's a much more wet ride.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. I would like to. I would have to spend an hour or two just running it and playing with the trim and seeing like if I go a little bit of trim, how much bow lift, and then if I bump it up, like where does it fall off? You know what I mean? Because it definitely falls off at some point, and sometimes it falls off. I mean, in the bullet, I never had it fall off unless I over trimmed it. If I over trimmed it, it'd fall off, and you could feel it. Like you could feel it getting squirrely, because there's nothing to hold the bow up, so it's fighting to keep it up. Obviously, your boat's not going to be as drastic of a feeling, but to me, it really felt like it was being over trimmed. And then when I look at that trim gauge, and I'm like, that thing ain't even going over half. I'm like, you know what? This makes me think it's over trimming in a way, and I think a prop would help a lot. But I definitely think that the trim situation needs to be investigated a little bit more too.
Right.
Jim says my trim is less than a quarter up and it runs great. Too much, get big rooster tail, motor screaming, and can fully cruise loaded at 50. That's another thing I noticed with yours is as soon as it falls off plane, the rooster tail goes crazy. But until it falls off,
I have a big rooster tail when it's trimmed all the way up, and my boat generally is only running about 48, 250, depending on whatever, depending on how it is outside, depending on the water, the wind direction, the current. But I feel like it should be running faster than 50 normally. It's got a Mercury 150 Pro XS on it, and there's only 85 hours, 90 hours on the motor.
I mean, if you really wanted to, all we got to do is take it down to my shore house one day and just swap out. I'll run it. Then I can tell you what I did, and you run it, or we both run it. It's but that's the thing is with like, and I learned that with the bullet in the little bit of the time that I did spend actually messing around with it, is that like
it might be falling off at a certain speed and not trim height.
That's possible too.
So how would you correct that?
Prop.
Right.
Prop. Definitely prop. And I was looking at the the forums a little bit on Bass Boat Central today, and I did see a lot of guys that were saying that had similar issues that you had, and they fixed it with propping.
Yeah, I personally feel like if the boat would run 52 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour, I would be completely happy with that. And I don't always feel the need to run the boat wide open, depending on where I am. It's just the fact of you pay so much for a product, you want it to perform the way it's supposed to perform.
Well, the thing of it is, I mean, you're what, at like 48, 49?
Yes.
That's closer than it seems.
Right.
Like, that's close. I mean, that's a prop the right prop will fix that. The right trim will fix that. I mean, I think you got two variables right now. I mean, and the thing of it is you're always, generally speaking, with that boat, you're probably going to run the best with a jack plate buried.
Mm-hmm. Jack plate as low as it can go.
I mean, a good example is like when my boat was a Propeller Dynamics and they were running it to make sure everything was good. Morgan was running that thing 79 mile an hour. I never got it to 73. Never. Once at Lake Anna. And that was, I actually had a high pressure fuel pump going, but I only got it to that on like the third or fourth day when I learned to just calm the fuck down on the trim.
Jim, I haven't fished a whole lot since I got it. I've used the John boat a lot still too.
Dustin's got a good point actually. The weighting actually works. The weighting, like where you put gear in the boat makes a big difference.
I've run it without gear. I've run it with gear. It stays the same. Yeah. It doesn't change. I have all my heavy stuff, my soft plastics, my big baits, I have all my heavy stuff
in the back
that I can get. I get as much as it as I can in the back.
I really think that because the first instinct I had is like, man, this thing, I feel like I just over trimmed this thing. And the thing of it is you can't trim it anymore. It won't go up anymore. So It's like, okay, well, if it lost pad, if it's acting weird now, and it's not going up anymore, I mean, it's probably too high. So I don't know. It's interesting to fuck around with, but I think a trophy plus would help you a lot. And there might be some folks listening that have one for you to try.
I feel like the Icons are a good fishing platform, but they're not really much of a performance haul. But I would think they would be going at least 70.
No, they do not.
Really?
They're slow. They're very slow.
Really?
They're very slow. Yep. Yeah, they're very, very slow.
Got a piss.
Dustin says his boat's like 7 mile an hour faster, empty. Yeah, no, that's pretty normal.
Mine does not change when it's empty.
If yours doesn't change when it's empty, then you're definitely having a trim issue or prop issue. But that's just the only two things it could be. Scott says more trim wedges. Yep, that's an interesting thing too. Slow as shit. Yeah, the icons are super slow. They really are. I don't know. I mean, I think that like what tournament fishing has become, and of course bass boats are geared to what tournament fishing has become. The design of boats has changed. We were talking about this in the group chat earlier this week with the XST Bullet. I saw Mr. Robbie Patterson was on from Propeller Dynamics earlier. Robbie, if you're still on, I know we talked about that a little bit when I was down at the shop, but I think that like a lot of boats right now are, a lot of the go fast boats are kind of at a really weird point, right? Like,
yeah,
a tournament boat has to have certain things. Like, you got to have an Ultrex or some sort of spot lock trolling motor, which is heavy. The Ultrex being the heaviest, but you got to have something. You got to have fucking, what's it called? You got to have a graph up front of at least 12 inches if you're going to do anything. Most people have 2. So that's wind resistance and weight. Go down the highway and stick your hand out the window. I mean, what happens? Like, if you're flying a plane, you ever seen those videos of like you guys are flying like a Cessna and they stick their hand out the window and the plane starts turning? Like, you got to think like water is the next thing, like molecularly to air. Every little thing matters. You don't have lithiums in that boat, right?
No, okay. I have lead acids in the boat. I put new lead acids in the boat. Is it getting wide open throttle? No, I think we're 200 to 300 RPMs off wide open throttle as well.
Okay.
I think it's running about 57 to 58 if I remember right. I think max RPM on the 150 Pro XS is, it's either 6,000 or it's 63. I cannot remember. Obviously, that's a large gap because then we're talking about 600 RPMs if it is that.
The other
I
thing,
think it's 200 to 300 off.
The other thing to think about though is like cavitation is a thing. Like if you're over trimmed and you're just blowing bubbles with your prop, it's going to slow it down. It will. I mean, so like I really think the trimming has a lot to do with it, but I could be wrong. I mean, who knows? I've only run the boat one time. The thing to do.
I would be interested to put wedges on it one time to see if it did help anything, but I don't know if it's actually going to or not.
Yeah. I think the thing to do is take it down to prop dynamics and just be like, here you go. Let me know when it hits 60.
Yeah.
Honestly. And then let them tell you what it is.
They can figure it out.
Yeah. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it to drive down there.
Been waiting for Morgan to hop on.
Right. So anyway, we're talking about boats and like the fork in the road, if you will, of...
Yeah, so if you're running 58, I'm pretty sure max RPM is about 6,000, Jim. If not a little bit more.
So Scott asks, is the throttle position sensor verified 100%, visual butterfly open all the way? I don't know. I don't think
not super sure on that. Obviously all I'm going by is that it's a fresh motor. That's all I really have to go by. It's fresh, so you would think that it would be where it needs to be, but it may not be.
The thing of it is it's not an uncommon thing. Like when I went on Bass Boat Central and punched in that model of Ranger, it's not uncommon. Like,
enjoy, John. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Have fun at the charity tomorrow, and thank you for what you do.
Yep, thanks, John. Good luck catching them up tomorrow, brother. But yeah, like now to get back to this, right? Like we got the modernization of bass boats. Like I think boats are getting slower because they have to get slower, right? Because everybody needs 3 graphs up front, everybody needs 360 up front, live scope. A fucking Ultrex Quest that's 100 pounds. So it's, you know, and it's like I look at the Bullet, like the Bullet XST, the 21 XST, 21-foot boat, and just it's a beautiful fucking boat, dude. It's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. It is a beautiful boat, but it's a modern boat. It's not a Bullet. It's a Bullet, but it's not a Bullet, right? Like it's a Bullet in that it has a lot of the features that Bullet has. But it's not the same design, right? Like my Bullet, you can't even compare the two.
Well, you're going from your slimmer, more narrow 21 foot is 21 foot, but it almost just looks longer. You know what I mean?
Right.
To this big cruise ship looking bass boat.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they are displacing a lot more water. They move a lot slower, but you have a much larger fishing platform. You have bigger bait storage.
The storage is fantastic.
It's ridiculous. So what? It comes down to what are you looking for? Like, honestly, so here's where I'm at with it. Like, yes, I want my boat to perform and run 50 to 55 miles an hour, but if I wanted a speedboat, I should have just bought a fucking speedboat.
Yeah.
I should have just bought a boat that was meant to go fast. But we're talking, you know, bass fishermen want both.
You could go buy John's 20cc.
I've thought about it.
Dude, that thing is fucking crazy.
I would kill myself in that boat.
That boat is just downright dangerous.
That boat is gnarly.
That boat's dangerous. But yeah, so like it's an interesting fork in the road that we're seeing with like companies like Bullet. I mean, Blazer not so much. Blazer kind of modernized their hulls a little bit before Bullet. Scott, Allison. Yeah. Allison is probably the only boat that has managed to modernize and keep the Allison speeds.
I don't think they have the same platform as like Paul's Skeeter though. Paul's Skeeter looks like you could put 10 Mexicans on it and cross the freaking ocean with it.
No, but it's modern. The Allison's pretty modernized. I mean, you can put a 12-inch graph up front. I'm sure guys have done too, but you can put modern graphs in it. It's still long and narrow. The storage you're not going to fit 40 rods in it like you will a Ranger, but it's going to run 90 miles an hour. I mean, it's going to run 90 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. You know, and again, but even at that level, yes, that boat's modern. Yes, it's fast. You don't have Ranger quality, fishability quality, right? The Allison's a beautiful
the fishability
boat.
Of it.
Correct. You don't. Right. The fishability of the Ranger is not the fishability of an Allison. It's just not. I don't. And everyone can love Allison, and that's great. How many guys on tour run them? None. How many guys on tour run Bullet? Maybe one. Buddy Gross used to run one. He doesn't even run one anymore.
There's one or two Bullets.
Right? And it's like, and I'm not saying that Allison and Bullet suck. They are fucking awesome boats. They are amazing.
Dude, they're gorgeous boats.
They are but it's
beautiful boats.
There is a divide right now in like a classic fast bass boat versus a modern tournament boat in 2025. Like if you look at a Falcon, dude, Falcons are oh my god wide. Like it's on a Legend, holy shit. The V Series Legends, the V20 and the V21, mm-hmm. I can lay across the front deck and not touch the gunnels with my hands or my feet.
That Icon up at JCS Marine was a big boat.
Right.
That was a ship of a boat.
Right.
But you know huge. What? The Bass Cat was the biggest one I had ever seen.
The
John's Jaguar, huge. That thing was massive. I mean, that thing was literally a cruise ship parked in the like. But it runs over 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, where is Icon losing to that compared to that?
Hull design. It literally gets wider. It literally, the boat, like, the stern it's skinny, and then it gets wider. It's like a shoe. It gets wider up front.
I wish I could like Fishing for Dollars comment, but I can't. But just know that I like your comment. Click.
Nice. But yeah, all these boats have gotten so ridiculously wide, and it's like at some level
why would you dream of any other boat other than the boat that you already have? That boat is freaking sick.
Yeah, true.
He's going out and running John's Big John's. Is that a Cougar?
I think it's a Lynx. I thought it was a Lynx.
Little John, what is that boat? Is a Cougar one of them?
No. Cougar's a 20-footer.
He's got a 21 foot, but
I'm pretty sure it's a Lynx
with a 250 on it, and that boat rolls.
The Lynx are the fast ones.
110%. That boat does.
It's an Ira. Okay.
That boat does every bit of 80 miles.
Maybe it's the Ira that's the fast one. I can't remember. One of their.
That boat flies.
It's one of the.
You got no reason to dream of 300R on that Ira. I mean, you could, if it isn't already, I'm not sure. You could flash the show on the back of that Ira, and you would have the 300R on it. I mean, you could flash it to a 332.
I wonder, is it a show on the back of that thing?
It's a show.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. That boat is fast. That's a very, very nice boat. And he's got the ability to go out and fish that boat.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
Finally
that.
has gotten to the age where his dad is letting him run the old bass boat.
That's pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, they were doing 75 with 3 of them.
Yeah, you're ripping. That's pumping. Well, the cool thing is right now is like
Did you go out with Scuba Steve today?
anybody's boats right now is running like in prime condition because it's just finally not 1,000 degrees outside. So
It's such a beautiful boat too. It's such a nice boat.
Bass Cat, in my opinion, I think the mass-produced boats. I think Bass Cat's the nicest boat. Phoenix is right behind them.
Is Bass Cat technically, is it mass produced though?
Yeah, I would say so. I think when like mass-produced boats is
When
like,
I think of mass produced, I'm really thinking of like Ranger and their factory shit.
well, it's like I think if they make more than like probably 50 a year, more than 50 boats, yeah, that's mass-produced. Because like Bullet makes like 20, if that, right? Like, so I think your mass-produced is like Skeeter, Ranger, Nitro, Triton, probably. Phoenix, Bass Cat. And I think that Bass Cat out of those names is probably the
Ha,
best.
what up, buddy? Hook set, baby. Come on.
Yeah. So I think Bass Cat, it's probably like the top 3 in that category is the Bass Cat, Phoenix, probably damn, it's a tough one.
Thanks for the like, Lenny.
Skeeter. Bass Cat, Phoenix, Skeeter are up there.
Yeah.
Skeeter's makes a fucking awesome boat too.
Skeeter makes a badass boat.
Yeah.
Skeeter makes a fantastic boat. Skeeter, Bass Cat, and then I would definitely, I'd probably put Phoenix up there with him as well.
Phoenix doesn't make anything bad at all.
Icon, as far as I know, makes a. I haven't heard too many bad things about the Icons, other than now people are saying they're slow.
Well, yeah, they're I mean, slow, but built like a fucking hammer. I mean,
Right.
Thing's built like an anvil, dude. I guess before, and I know we're going to have an earlier show this evening, but I want to get into a little bit of the Upper Bay bass fishing report, if there is such a thing. Not that it's like gospel or nothing. I just had a really kind of neat experience on the bay last weekend. I just wanted to put the information out there. Not that I'm burning up any spots or anything, because I'm not. But it was actually really cool because we went out on Sunday, me and Mr. Greg, and a lot of guys in the club went out Saturday.
Really? Sorry, I'm
No,
cutting
you're good.
you off, but it just surprises me. Scott says that Skeeter's one of the worst built.
That is
Which
surprising.
That is not. It's not what I hear. So
Wow.
I'm just very surprised by that.
So we went out on Sunday. A couple guys in the club went out Saturday and said they were chewing the frog. It was a frog clinic. So it was a front that came in on Saturday. So it was that typical pre-front. They were rocking, having a ball, right? So we went out on Sunday, got to the first couple spots, never had a sniff on a moving bait. So we found a school of stripers and just destroyed them for a while, which was a lot of fun. Got a couple cool videos of us doubling up on stripers, a couple decent ones too, which was pretty sick.
That's always fun.
And then we decided, well, we came out here to bass fish, so we'll go back to bass fishing after, the stripers have ripped my thumb wide open pretty much. So we went back to bass fishing, and we were throwing the chatterbaits, throwing the weedless swim baits and all the other shit. It just wasn't happening. So finally picked up the old plastic and started flipping. And we were flipping a grass line, and then all of a sudden in the grass line, so it was going straight, and then there was this drain in there. It's like a little horseshoe. I was like, well, okay, let's flip that. And in that horseshoe, that little drain, we caught like 4 fish. When I was like, that's pretty cool. And it was, the thing of it is like,
It reminds me of other places.
any of that little stupid, like patchy grass that everyone loves, right? That you can get a chatterbait through, you can frog. Like when those fish are eating, that stuff is the deal. Don't get me wrong. When the fish are chewing, they're in that sporadic shit. They're active. But when it's tough, that post front stuff, like we were fishing Sunday, the more defined the grass edge, the better. And then you catch 1 or 2 on the long stretches of just straight hard edge, but then you'd find a little drain or a little opening, right? Maybe you'd have a grass edge, and then there'd be a big hole 2 feet behind the edge, like a big hole, not just a little hole, like a big one. Be 3 or 4 fish in it. So I think what these fish were doing is just kind of like that post front, they were funky. And here's the thing, right? This is juice. This is fucking juice. I don't care what anybody says. This is juice. And you might know this, you might not. I'm not nearly a great bass fisherman ever. I probably never will be. Hopefully one day, but definitely not now. You got to fish grass the way you fish the bank. You got to fish grass the way you fish the bank. And a lot of people are like, well, what's that mean? That doesn't make sense. Well, it actually makes a lot of sense.
That's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm like, all right. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
All right. If you just, and I did this shit for years. I did it for fucking years. And last year, when I really started fishing a lot, it started making sense. I would go out on the flats. I would go out back channel. And I would just roll around, get to the grass, set the boat down, troll around. Oh, there's some grass. I'm in a whole bunch of grass. I'm going to just put the troll motor down and go fishing. Okay. You're going to catch fish that way. You're definitely going to catch fish that way. But once you start figuring out like high percentage areas in the grass, that's when your tough days turn into limits in a call or two, and your good days turn into mind-blowing days, like quick. And what I mean by that is like if you're just in a grass patch and you can catch a couple fish, but then there's a good hard edge over here, and that hard edge is not just random. That hard edge is because there's like a deeper trench or something right there. Mm-hmm. Like fish are going to set up like that. And what I mean by fish it like you fish the bank, right? If you're fishing a lake with no grass, some of the things you'd look for would be points, bays, little cuts. If you're going down the bank and there's a bay, that's what you're going to look for. If you look for that same shit in the grass, you're gonna catch way more fish.
What about pockets that are 20 yards back in the thick stuff?
There's a reason why there's not grass growing in that spot, and it's not almost always a depth change. Whether it's the depth gets higher, the depth gets deeper. Usually the depths gotten deeper, and that's why there's an opening there. But if you
just a little bit of
it's a hole. It's a hole. And like when it gets tough, right? When you get a post front and when it gets tough, the fish, they just like anything else. The thickest grass there, in the absence of a significant amount of hard cover, acts as hard cover. So when you get a front and you're post front, those fish, they don't have rock piles on the flats. They don't have but there's a few, right? But they don't have mass rock piles. They don't have logs and just these massive fields of wood and whatever to go to. So they go to the thickest grass, right? Now, let's think of it like this, right? The thickest grass is going to be a defined edge. Mm-hmm. So when you get a defined edge with a drop off, okay, now we're really talking, because now we got depth changes. We got high percentage areas where fish are going to be. I think that there are, if you could just like pick up like a square 1,000 yards of whatever, I honestly think that in a tough situation, I think there's as many fish in the mats as there are on the edge. I really do. But you're putting your bait in a high percentage strike zone on the edge.
I agree.
So that's why I've stopped just getting in the grass and just saying, oh, I'm around grass, I'm around fish. Like you are, but every cast is random. You gotta really start looking at like where's the high percentage area. Like if you look at a grass line that comes to a point, it's just like fishing a point on a lake. We know fish like points. So why wouldn't they like a point in the grass? Why wouldn't they like an indent in the grass? If you got a grass line that's straight, and then does one of these, well, guess what? Now we got a grass edge right here on the left and a grass edge right here on the right in a small area. We just took a high percentage grass edge and doubled it because the grass was straight and then it made a belly, and there's a depth change because of that, and now we got fish. And that's how it worked. Every time we went to a point in the grass or a drain in the grass, if you caught one, you'd catch a couple. And if we were going down a straight hard edge, you might get one or two on that whole edge in like a 100 yard stretch, but you never caught two in the same area. But you go to that little area where there's a point, or that little area where there's a little drain, just like fishing a lake. When I used to fish reservoirs, you'd fish points, you'd fish bays, like a little bay with no creek in the back, a drain. That's all a bay is a drain, right? And there's always fish in there. So I really think that if you do that when you go out fishing in grass, like you just help yourself out a lot, right? Because I did it for years. I would go sit on the back channel and I'd fucking float around until I caught my limit of fish and whatever. And that's the difference. Like these guys, dude, these guys that are dogs on the bay, they're not just running around randomly. I promise you. Like they have spots on the bay based on what the grass is doing, and based on their high percentage areas of fish. Like if you're on an area, like if you know it's a post front and you're catching fish on a hard edge with a drain, those guys know where there's 10 drains on the flats. And they go out, and that's the thing.
What do you mean? What do you mean by a drain?
So a drain is like an area where, let's say, all right. So think of it like this: if you have a bank, like if you're on a lake, and a drain is something that maybe cuts in a little bit, it's deeper in the middle. That's what if you look at it on the bank.
So like the grass, kind of.
Yes, like a horseshoe. It's the same like type of terrain feature. It's the same type of terrain feature that you'll see on the bank, right? So like if you're up on like a Smith Mountain Lake or something, or a lake that's got a lot of hills around it, which most do, look on the bank, and if you'll see two hills coming together, water's going to drain in the middle. That terrain feature goes out the same way. That's why you have an indent in the bank, because the contour comes out the same way. So if you fish grass the same, like a cove, yep, Jim's absolutely right. Like a cove, a drain is a lot smaller than a cove, but it's similar. Like a cove isn't it looks like a cove, but it's not necessarily a cove. But if you find something that looks like a cove in the grass that's maybe the size of 4 or 5 parking spaces, you're going to catch fish in that, especially post front. Because again, you got two grass edges in a near vicinity to each other. Because like I said, we took a grass edge here, we took a grass edge here, and then we made a V, and now we got a grass edge right here and a grass edge right here that's very close to each other. So we just made an area where fish are going to hang out even more because that's what they're doing. But one day I just was on the flats and just kind of figured that out by accident. I was fishing low tide, and I was catching fish. In high tide, I was catching fish out in the middle, and then the tide went out, and I wasn't doing shit. And I went out to the channel, and I saw this really defined grass edge. And I was like, I'm just going to flip the grass edge. And it was like boom, 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 boom. I was like, holy shit. This grass edge thing is kind of awesome. And grass edges move with the tide, right? Like a hard defined edge in high tide is going to have fish. A hard defined edge in low tide is going to have fish, but they're not in the same space. So the thing of it is that those guys that are fucking hammers on the bay, they know where the high tide edge is and the low tide edge is, where the high tide drains are, where the low tide drains are. It's time on the water and breaking it down. Like these guys are not out there, just very, very few. If you go out and fish any major tournament, and you know the top 5 or 6 teams that are out there, very rarely will you see them sit in one spot. Very rarely. You'll see them bouncing around, bouncing around all day. They're not just going to an area. They're generally going to a spot that's moderately sized, and they're going to pick some shit apart. These high percentage areas in an area that's got fish. Like an area is always going to have fish, but it's knowing the spot within the spot. I think there's always a spot within a spot at any given time. And it was so crystal clear last Sunday when we were out fishing, because it's like after a couple hours, we would fish grass and not get shit, not get a bite, and then go find these hard edges with drains in them, and you catch 4 or 5 fish. Like quick. I mean, it was like every pitch for a while. And then it was like, okay, go back down the edge, maybe catch one. Oh, look, there's another indentation in the grass line, and we're going to catch 4 or 5 here. And sure enough. And in September, right, when it's tough, I think Greg and I had like 18 pounds, which is, I'll take that any day in September.
That's a good bag.
Any fucking day. And I haven't fished up there in months. So, it's just these little things that matter. And some days you go out there, like, I think the worst day of practice is not the day you don't catch them. I think the worst day of practice you can have is the day you go out and catch them on everything. Because, okay, well, now what do I do?
Yeah, exactly.
The motherfuckers will eat a cigarette butt. You know what I mean? Like, remember, we had a day in practice. We went out a couple years ago, one day on the gunpowder, and fucking destroyed them.
Just ruined them.
Smoked them. And I remember, like, it was a great day, but I remember coming in, and I was like, well, that sucked. Now I have no idea what's going on, because we caught fish on frogs, we caught fish on plastics, we caught fish on swim baits, we caught fish on chatterbaits. It's like,
I even went home and I was like, what do we do tomorrow? Because everything works. So like, what is what?
Right. So those are the little things.
And it didn't work out, by the way, that next day. It did not come together.
But those are the little things I think that really go a long way when you're fishing grass. Is like, just break it down, make it simple. Like, fish relate to certain things across the country. Like, fish like points, Fish like drains. Fish like terrain features. It's the same thing with grass. They like points in the grass. They like hard edges, just like on Conowingo. They like hard edges. They like hard bottom. It's the same deal. Like, you don't have to overcomplicate it. Now, up there is a little bit different. You got bait chasers that will just be in randomness. But on the flats, you can really break it down a little bit. Of course, it doesn't work every time. But like I said, I mean, when these guys that are out there just like dogging everybody in these tournaments, man, like, they're not just fucking going out and just hoping it happens. Like, they're going to specific areas and hard edges and depth changes and these little high percentage areas in you make a big place a small place. If you can make a big place a small place, you're going to catch fish. As long as you've got the right thought process. That's my thing. Make a big place a small place.
Do you see this?
Go live from your AI glasses.
You can get those. Now apparently you can get those Meta glasses, and you can go live.
There is no way that Meta glasses do not give you all kinds of brain cancer. There's just no fucking way.
Dude, you can get the Meta glasses. You can go live. So wear Meta glasses and go out on the boat. We can just live stream while we're fishing.
That
on the Meta glasses.
There's just no... Dude, what the fuck? Was this like Spy Kids 2025? Like... Is that even legal? That's
crazy. It says it has overlays, alerts, and multi-streaming.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that like the shit comes up on your lenses? Like you can see like text messages and stuff?
So you can see it on your phone, but the video camera is in your glasses.
Remember that show that was on Nickelodeon, Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide?
I do.
Remember that nerd kid?
Yeah, the thing would like flip down.
That's like what we're at right now.
Cookie.
Yes, that's where we're at right now. Like, put on my Meta glasses and just like look at the Facebook Live comments. Oh, this guy said I should throw a spinnerbait. Let me tie my spinnerbait on. Fucking chuck it out there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, I got a random question because we've covered everything we want to cover tonight, and we appreciate you guys sticking with us and participating in the conversation. Who ties the San Diego Jam knot?
I will use the San Diego Jam on my swim baits.
So I just started tying it, and there's no way it's not the best knot ever. There's just no way.
I mean, that's what Chris Zowden ties nothing but a San Diego Jam.
Does he tie the single or the double?
Single.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
That's a squeaky fucking beer glass, dude. What's up with that?
Yeah, no. So Chris Zowden ties nothing but the San Diego Jam, especially for the larger baits.
Yeah.
If it's not the San Diego Jam, it's a Palomar.
So I've had pretty decent luck with the Palomar, and like, it's funny because I've used almost this year exclusively Seaguar Red Label, and I really like it. It's been a great line for what it is. Like, and a lot of my like jigs and like my heavier lines, I'll go up to 17. If I get 17 snagged, I can't break it off.
Power Pro, and I believe it's Seaguar and Visex. Is that what it is?
The yellow, it's in the yellow box.
Yeah,
that shit's incredible.
Yeah, that's all I use is Invisex or Power Pro braid. That's it. If it's not braid, it's fluorocarbon. I don't have a single rod that has monofilament on it.
I have one as my top water rod. But Jim says that's a great knot for fluoro mono. He uses a uni knot for braid. So I was watching Bass Fishing HQ a video this week, and he actually tested a bunch of knots. He tested like the normal, the improved clinch. He used 20-pound Yozuri line. Says Seaguar Red Label for 3 years. Never had an issue that wasn't. Yeah, I agree. I think Red Label's great.
Paul shits on the uni knot for braid. Paul just hates the uni knot.
Shits on the. I thought he shits on the double uni knot for braid to leader.
Yes, but I feel like that just translates.
I don't know. So on this video that Bass Fishing HQ posted, it's pretty good. We should probably like put it in the comments or something. But he tested all the different knots, and he started with the improved clinch, went to the Palomar, the uni, the Snell, and then I think there might have been one more in there, but he finished up with the San Diego Jam. And basically what he would do is tie the knot and break it 3 times. He'd like tie it, and then he had like a little lathe looking thing, and he would crank it, and it would break, and he would be able to get an exact measurement of how much pressure was on it. The uni knot was breaking 20-pound line at 16 pounds.
Ooh.
Yeah, like you're losing 4 pounds of whatever. The Palomar was pretty decent. I think the Palomar was at like 18 to 17 to 19, but I think it averaged out at like 19. The Snell knot was very good. The Snell knot was averaging at 19. The uni knot was averaging a higher 19, and then the San Diego Jam was actually breaking at 21 pounds consistently. So there's something about that San Diego Jam that is just the deal. Martin said Paul and I tie a double uni on frogs, not uni to uni. Interesting.
Yeah, I do uni to uni for my.
I'll be right back.
I do tie uni to uni for my leaders, uni knot. And really, I've never really had any problems with it. But honestly, like when I'm throwing a shaky head or I'm throwing a wacky, which a lot of times when I'm using my double uni or my uni, sorry, is I'm throwing it with finesse baits. I got braid to fluorocarbon. And it's just for my leader, so I'm throwing wackies on it. I'm throwing shaky heads on it, drop shot, things of that nature. So like you don't have to set the hook super hard on that stuff. So the uni's always been fantastic for me. When I go to a straight tie from fluorocarbon or braid, or generally fluorocarbon, I'm doing a San Diego Jam on my fluorocarbon, but braid, I'm still doing the Palomar for the most. And that's when like swim baits, topwater swim baits, frogs, it's all Palomar. If I'm throwing glide baits with my fluorocarbon, it's San Diego Jam.
I will say the FG knot for braid the leader is the
FG.
deal.
Yeah, I haven't learned how to tie the FG, but there's the FG and the blood knot. I believe the blood knot is another.
It's pretty similar.
Yeah.
It's a similar concept, but a lot of those knots are similar for braid the leader. I will say that I started tying the FG and I won't go back.
Now is that a leader to main or is the blood knot the leader to main, or is it both?
The blood knot, to my understanding, came from fly fishing, like from a fly line to like a tippet type of thing. The FG is
beast.
The FG is the strongest.
It's beast.
Now the Alberto is the fastest. Like people can tie
There we go. Josh just said the Alberto. I'll use the Alberto for leaders, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, the FG is the strongest leader knot. Period. End of sentence.
What do you use for the frog?
Martin, yeah, I'm curious. He might have said that earlier. He said double uni on frogs earlier.
So double uni on frogs. Okay.
I will say, dude, like the crazy thing about the double San Diego Jam is it's got 3 tag ends.
Joe says, look up the Red Phillips knot. Dude, how many fucking knots with weird names is out there? Who names your knot the Red Phillips knot?
Jim says, look up the Bangkok hooker knot. Says it's super strong and it's not a joke. That makes me think it might not be a joke.
Honestly, if anybody knows about the Bangkok hooker knot, it's Jim.
Definitely Jim.
It's definitely Jim.
The Palomar, I will say, like, the Palomar is a great knot, but I will tie every now and then. I'll just break off for stupid reasons.
I'm Palomar, like, San Diego Jam, like, and then if I have to do leader to leader, line to line, I'm doing a uni. That's just what I do. I don't stray from that. I've never really had any problems with it. But I use, like I said, I use Yellow Label. I use the Invisex, which is, I don't know if I want to say it's a different class of line, but it's a high quality line.
Yep. I think I think Red Label is for the money. I think Red Label is the best money can buy. I mean, if you're fishing for a living and you're fishing for big dollars, yeah, sure, go to Tatsu, go to Invisex, but like, I really think that Red Label's great. Like,
does anybody here use a poly line?
I will use P line occasionally.
Yeah, P line, but I'm talking about like I believe it's like a poly.
Well, yeah, P line FluoroClear is a copolymer, and it's garbage.
Yeah.
It's horrible. The 20 is okay, but everything else is fucking trash. I used to break off so much when I used that crap, and it was terrible. P line fluorocarbon is actually pretty good, and their higher end fluorocarbons is pretty good. But the P line FluoroClear that you get for like $15 for like 600 yards is honest trash. Like, it's horrible. Like, a frog couldn't hang himself with that shit. It would just break. It's fucking awful, man. Yeah, Josh, P-line's great if you like breaking fish off. I agree.
I heard the sniper was good.
FC Sniper is good.
I've used the sniper.
FC Sniper's good. There's nothing wrong with FC Sniper.
See, look, there's the man himself, Tom Over. He already knows. He's one of the guys that goes out there and dominates every single tournament he gets into. He says, Palomar and 25 big game mono. And big game is a Berkeley line, if I am not wrong.
It is.
Yeah. Palomar and 25 big game mono. I've heard big game is actually good stuff. Have never used it though because
I used to use it all the time.
I really hate Berkeley.
I used to use it when I was go striper fishing all the time.
I want Berkeley to go out of business. Minus the Fritz side.
Yeah, the Fritz side's pretty awesome. I still have a bunch of original ones in the pack
That might be one of my favorite flat side crankbaits. I'm not gonna
lie. Yeah, the P line. So the P line fluorocarbon, not fluoro clear. P line fluoro clear is just the worst thing ever. Like the best thing you could use for P line fluoro clear is to hang Christmas ornaments on your Christmas tree, and even it might break then too. So don't hang anything expensive off your Christmas tree with P line fluoro clear. Like your expensive Christmas ornaments will break off and fall. The fluorocarbon's okay, and like I wouldn't take it over Seagar. I've actually heard that the Suffix fluorocarbon's pretty good. I haven't really used it a lot. I've used it here and there, but like for me personally, like I know what I get with Red Label, so I'm not going to stray from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I'm getting good line with it. And I use it for leader. I use it for main line. I just use it, period. Now, I also don't fish a lot of areas where like you really need 6 pound leader. Or you really need like hell. 8 pound leader is as low as I'll go up on Wingo because the water's just not clear enough.
I use 10 to 8. Is it 8 to 10? Or I'm pretty sure I just use 10 pound for most of my leader.
Yeah, 10's pretty good for the most part. I mean, like until you get into like 5,
I think I've
6
gone
foot.
as low as 8, but it's like
I've gone down to 6 when I used to fish like Pretty Boy and stuff, and that mattered in a lake that's that clear. But like on Wingo, dude, you can throw 10. I mean, you're not gonna hurt. 8 is like even a little bit better, but you don't have to go
I really
crazy
don't
with
think
it.
the 8 to 10 matters on Conowingo when you have that stained water. I think that you really get into the line diameter mattering more when you're fishing very, very clear water. So like the 6 to 8, the 8 to 10, that could make a difference in that situation. So like maybe on Loch Raven on a very, very clear water day. But other than that, 8 to 10, I don't think you're seeing much of a difference other than tensile strength.
Josh said, never had such a string of not breaking fish off since I started using CR Red Label. Broken some, but it was not from not retying after catching a bunch of fish.
Yeah.
That I would agree. That's my experience with
I
with
agree.
Seagar.
I straight up, laziness has lost me more fish than the line itself.
Now, Seagar also has a new line called Base X, and I've used it a little bit. I think I use like their 10 and 12 pound crankbaits. It's a little bit cheaper than Red Label, but it seems to be pretty decent. I will say that the line diameter is a lot bigger.
Justin, number 6 is for crappie fishing. You know what? There's some big ass crappie out there.
Oh yeah. Angler Extreme at Bass Pro pre-cut is made by Seagar, and it's strong. It's cheap. Pre-cut leader and 4 foot lengths. I'm sorry, but who uses a 4 foot leader?
You know, it excites me to see freaking Tom getting into throwing some glide baits. Yeah. I know he has, but it's like, at the same time, you've got into throwing some glide baits. It's not the end all be all or anything by that or anything of that matter, but
it's got a time and a place.
Dude, it's fun.
It is fun.
It's so fun. It's fun to throw a glide bait. It's fun to work a glide bait, and the moment that you see that fish come up and roll on your bait, it's like, oh man, it's adrenaline pumping.
See, Jim says you cut it down to size. Like I don't ever tie on a leader that's less than 15 foot ever. I'm one of those people, and
less than 15 feet.
I will always tie on a 15 foot leader.
I do a leader that is about my arm's length from end to end, and that is about it.
Nope.
I don't like the knot to go super far down into the spool.
Well, if you tie the FG, you don't got to worry about it. That's my thought process. But I tie a 15 foot leader because I'm lazy and I don't want to break a bait off and have to retie a leader every 3 times I break a bait off. Like I could tie a leader on and fish with it like that for a month or two before it, you know what I mean? And then I got to retie it. It's just for me.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's also lazy because after a month or two and you're constantly using it, you're wearing that out.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you guys got to keep an eye on it.
You're stretching your line.
I will say, with a leader that long, every time I retie,
especially you, I've seen your hook sets into logs. You are definitely stretching the line.
But I haven't been breaking off nearly as much since I went to the Seagar. In general, whether it's 8-pound leader or
you've changed a lot of things in your fishing game. You're using nice rods now. You're using good freaking line, good reels. You're buying freaking better quality baits. When I first met you, you basically, like, Tony was the guy that went to Goodwill to find fishing shit. I mean,
it was
like,
Ollie's,
that's it.
But okay.
Yeah, Ollie, whatever you want to say. And he was like, "Oh, this stuff works. It's great. Look at me. I fish all this stuff, and I do go with it," which you did. But now you're realizing that once you upgrade things, it does make quite a difference.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying because every time I was putting my rods together for tomorrow. Out of the 30 rods I have, I need to count them again. There's probably 22 of them I won't use ever again. And it's crazy because between the Dobbins HP Extremes, the Zodiases, the Shimano Curados, the Poisons, the fucking, like, it's just crazy, dude. It's crazy. I will say, a newer rod that I got a chance to play with a little bit last weekend it's a newer brand. It's called Finex. I actually won it in the Conowingo Open a couple months ago. I haven't had a chance to throw it. I threw it last weekend. I caught some fish on the gunpowder with it, and then caught some fish with it on the flats. Some of them big stripers that me and Greg were catching, I caught on that Finex rod. $150 price point rod. I actually really like it. I think it's like, I give it a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 is good. Okay, like really good. It sounds a little harsh, but like to me, a 10 out of 10. That's like an NRX was like a 9. You know what I mean? So like $150 rod being a 6, and an NRX Plus and like a Poison Ultima being like a 9 or a 10. That's pretty significant. Like, I think an X Pride's probably, I don't know, I make an X Pride like a 8, 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
So you're half the price point, and that's just my first impression with it. I really like that rod. It was a really good rod. I would definitely get another one. If you're familiar with Powell rods, Powell.
Powell makes a good rod.
It was very comparable to a Powell rod. I wouldn't put it above a Shimano Curado. I think a Curado is just, for the money, the Curado is the deal. But this is a really good rod. I would definitely get some more. And it's Finex, Fin-X. 7-foot medium heavy, throwing chatterbaits on it, catching big stripers, and it held up pretty good. Pretty sensitive rod too. I could feel, no matter how long of a cast I made, I could feel the bait doing its thing. So, if you're looking for rod, to my understanding, it's a local brand too. So that's pretty cool. Not like a mass producer. It's like a guy or two making them. So pretty cool.
Damn, that hurts blowing up an X Pride.
Joe, how old was that thing? Was it a year? Hopefully, if it was, I will say this: if it was a new rod, do the warranty. I did the warranty on my Zodius, and they helped me out. It was great. It was a really good experience. If it's a newer X Pride, send it in. If it's an old X Pride, not the deal. That sucks.
That's defective.
I will not boat flip a fish with a Shimano rod. I am so afraid to do it. I won't do it. I refuse to do it because I know. Like, if you look at like a past a year, that sucks, man. Yeah, you're up the creek on that one, buddy. But I will say, like, if you look at like a Zodius crankbait rod or any rod that's not like a medium heavy plus,
that's where that 1 year warranty fucking sucks dick. It's like, that's where it's like the St. Croix just has everybody beat.
Yeah, but I mean, the price point for what you get, like, I think a Shimano X Pride is a very comparable rod to an NRX Plus. I really do. Like, and I've fished both of them a lot.
Well, I do believe they have the same blank.
So they're owned by the same company. I don't know that the blank is the same. I don't know. It could be, but I don't know. I will say the NRX Plus is a fantastic rod. It is an unbelievable rod. If you haven't fished with one and you fish with one, you'll know what I'm talking about. But the X Pride, for the price point, for the $400 difference in price, is pretty fucking close.
Right.
And it's an excellent rod. That's why I rank it so high. Like I make a X Pride's like an 8 out of 10, maybe 8.5, or like an NRX Plus is like a 9. A Poison Ultima is like a 9. A Poison Adrena probably up there with the Ultima. I mean, I really don't know any reason to get an Ultima when you can just get an Adrena.
Yep.
Like if I got a Poison Ultima, I'd be afraid to fish with it. It's $800 rod with a 1-year warranty. Like I would rather just get a Poison Ultima for half the price and have 99% of the sensitivity.
Dustin says the Kistler broke swinging a 2-pounder last year.
Yeah, I like my mic. I tell you what, my like right now, because I get the discount from Dobbins, because you know the whole military thing. The Champion HP Extreme is the rod I'm gonna buy in mass, because I get it for like $250 on the discount.
That's a good deal.
The Shimano Corrado is now a $200 rod because of tariffs.
Yeah,
the Champion HP is a better rod.
So has the price of the XP not going up? The Champion XP?
No, because it's made in USA, or at least I haven't checked recently, but last I checked when I bought mine, it hadn't gone up. I gotta look again. I will say if you're a Dobbins guy and you haven't tried an Ecstasy,
that's crazy, Jim.
Yeah, definitely try the Champion HP Extreme. That is a fucking awesome rod. That is an amazing rod. I'm going to grab an Ecstasy at some point, too, after this government shutdown's over and I get paid again. Because right now I'm working for free. Sucks, by the way.
Really? That's affecting you?
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
I'm surprised. I was going to ask you if you've been going to work.
Yeah, I'm contractor.
Oh, okay.
I'm funded at least for the next 4 months.
Oh, okay.
So, gotta be.
So, but I know we've kind of been a little bit all over the place in the last hour here. Appreciate you guys joining us. I feel like we had a pretty good conversation. We're getting ready to wrap it up when Chad gets back. But I like I was saying with the Dobbins, man. If you like Dobbins, if you're a big fan of Dobbins rods, I would highly recommend trying an HP Extreme. In my opinion, the gap from the Fury to the Champion XP was a little underwhelming. I like the Champion XP, but it was a little underwhelming. The gap from the Champion XP to the Champion HP was incredible. Absolutely incredible, as a matter of fact. So I would definitely say if you want to spend a little bit of money, the Champion HP Extreme has the warranty. It's in that Shimano X Pride price region. I would get the Champion HP if you like Dobbins. See if you like it. Obviously, X Prides are amazing, but like right now, the rods I'm buying for the foreseeable future are Dobbins Ecstasies, Poison Adrenas, and Corrados, and Champion HP Extreme. So like one of those 4 is what I'm getting from now on, which is horrible because they're all $300.
It's insane. Yeah. You going from buying $20 rods at yard sales.
Okay, well, I will say the fish and flea markets, you can find gold at those places, man. You really can.
Yeah, some of them. A lot of them are just from old timers, and they got freaking bamboo rods from back in Vietnam.
Yeah, I got a couple cashing rods at the fish and flea market this year, and like, I mean, for what they are, they're great. I don't love them. I got them for $15 a piece, though, so they're awesome.
You got
know
backups,
what I mean? Right? But yeah, I think we're gonna rock and roll for the evening. I got to be up in the morning. Hopefully, I'm gonna take Dustin's money. I'm not super hopeful though. I'm on fishing on the back of the boat, so I got a tall order of business in front of me, almost as tall as this glass of beer. But I'll see all you Bass Militia folks in the morning. Get out there, have a good time. But we appreciate everyone that joins us every week. I know we haven't been super consistent. I know you got life going on, and everything.
Life going on, everything kind of happens all at once, and we've just kind of been hanging out, and with dating Caitlin now, who I spend a lot of time with her and her family, and we just, between my family and her family, we just have a lot of things going on. So, not that I don't want to be here on Bass and Beer Radio, but you got to pick and choose those battles sometimes, because I don't like sleeping on the couch.
That is correct. So, all right, well, we're going to wrap it up. Hopefully everyone that's watching gets a chance to go out, catch some fish this weekend. I'll be out there. Hopefully we'll share some pictures. If you guys catch a bunch of big fish this weekend, send them in to us. We'll post them during the week and show you some stuff out here.
I appreciate that, Jim. Thank you very much. If anybody doesn't know, my dog underwent surgery today. My little brown dog that you see me holding sometimes, he underwent surgery today. and they didn't find a blockage that they thought they might, and they're treating him for some other issues that he might have with his organs. So any prayers that you guys are willing to give for my little buddy, I would absolutely appreciate it. So love you guys, and we will catch you guys next week. Thank you.